So this is my Star Wars game that I had loaded up, and I was playing this for a little bit before I came back to EverQuest. And this is my town. My character's name is Brennan Orionstar, and this is Orionstar, and this is all my town. That's my cantina over there where I used to have my doctor buffing and my entertainer dancing. And this was my pride and joy that I worked on to get this decorated. So all the decoration in here I did myself. The entrance is just pretty basic, and then I've got some little posters on the floor that I use as like carpet. Nothing really in the other cubbies, but this is really where I put all my work. Okay, so you can see what it is if I kind of scroll. Let me do it this way. So you can see the giant dragon that's going all over the guild hall here, and it wraps all the way around into this back room here, all the way to his tail with a little stinger on it. And all the parts of that dragon are all made out of starship engines and starship plating and some other starship parts. So I wrapped that all around. I wrapped his tail all around the little thing there, and you can kind of see his face in there. So I used a cracked dragon skull and some crystals for the eyes, and actually some dresses for the tongue. And then you can see my boat here that's floating in the water, so it looks like that dragon's attacking the boat. And Boba Fett here is trying to shoot at it. So all this blue is all dresses. That's all the water is all dresses. And I put some droids in here, and I made all these droids. Now the boat, if you look closely at the boat, you'll see that the boat is made out of toolboxes. Right? So these are all toolboxes. In this game, you can't just rotate and move. You actually have to move items with commands. So this was actually a lot of work. I mean, I spent about 3 weeks making this, and I worked on it almost every day. A few hours here, a few hours there, in between work and stuff. So this was my mall. So this is where we had all our vendors, and then I had some other vendors in there. Other people would come around and they'd put vendors in here. I was actually pretty much the top dog on this server. I'm surprised nobody's sent me a message yet asking if I'm back. But we're going to go upstairs. I want to show you the upstairs view of the room below. It's pretty cool. And I've got another droid shop, so you can kind of see the dragon from there, and the water in the boat. Little globe statue there. But that was my baby. So that was my mall with the Chinese droid dragon. And you can kind of see that there. And there's my little droid again. And all these are just leather hides that I put on the ground to make it look like dirt. And a little Boba Fett there fighting. He's got a little droid above him. So now I'm going to take you over to my cantina where Six used to buff. Six was my home girl. Get my little race car out. Alright, so that was my little race car there. And this was the Moon-Kissed Cantina. This is where everybody came for buffs all over the server. This was the hub, the hot spot. And this is Six's chair. She used to sit here. And you could just come up here and get a buff from her and then go about your merry business. And then my entertainers would dance on the stage there, my dancer and my musician. So I had dual entertainers with a medical doctor. I had everything you needed in one place. Next door was the best mall in the galaxy, and I was basically really the only droid maker in the galaxy that really paid attention to droids and really made a lot of droids. And now I'm going to tell you, and you can see this is my town, right? So these are all my buildings, all structures that were made by me. And then a lot of my residents over here were, you know, all my friends were my residents, so they came and helped support the town and everything. And then the people that came to the city a lot, they really liked to come here and get their buffs and have their house be in the city there the same. So now what I'm looking for is the city hall, so I can annoyingly pay my maintenance for years to come, and nobody can, my city will always be here. So I'm just gonna go pay this for a bit. And then I'll take you over to my droid factory where the where it all started, where it kind of got all started. So I'm gonna do a treasury deposit. Okay, and let's see how long we got. Treasury report. Let's see, city info, status report. So we got enough money in there for, doesn't say on that. Maintenance report maybe? No. What the fuck is that? What was there? Well, that gives us 1 million credits. Considering it takes about what was it, about 70,000 a week, so yeah, that'll last a little while. We'll be there for a little bit more. And I really don't care. The city structure really only is like the shuttle port, and I really would like to get that fixed. Let me see if I can get a bank. I mean, I don't really know why I even care, but so I stopped playing on this server, on this game, because this server is just really unstable, like ridiculously unstable. You see some of my cooler structures were over in this part of the town. I had a little AT-AT display and a Millennium Falcon and a Java land crawler, Java skiff. Alright, so let's go check out the droid factory. So the droid factory was where I got all my notoriety for being Brennan and being 6, basically, because I always had stock vendors. All my stuff was always, you know, you could always come there and buy stuff without having to wonder where you needed to go to get things. So it was a one-stop shop for all things droids. Alright, so this is my droid shop. And this is a vehicle garage, so it has a nice big opening in the front. And my vendors, I used to have one there, and then I had a couple of them over here, but I took all of them down. And on display I have all the different droids that I can make. So you can see like the Probot droid, which is my favorite, and then like the medical surgical droids, and then I had LEs. And a bunch of different R units, R2, R3, R4, R5. And I can make all these droids, C3POs, I can make those. And I decorated all this myself. Other than the conveyor belt, which is here, which I had my friend Gav do. So when we first made the droid factory, I told my friend Gav that I wanted to do some decorating, and I paid her 1 million credits to make me a conveyor belt. So she took the idea and ran with it and made the structure. Like all the droids and all that kind of stuff, that's all me, but like the structure for the conveyor belt was her idea. And so she used some structures that you can use for like creating furniture, and then some weapon modules to kind of make it look like rollers. And then I just added some droids on there to kind of make it look like they're, you know, in motion and stuff. And when you place items to rotate them or turn them and like pitch and roll and yaw, I mean, you have to use all these different commands to place all these structures, I mean all these items down. So you can kind of see, and this is like a scrap bin that I made of like little droids, and these were all actually, all the droids in here were actually mistake droids that I had made and I had collected over time, and I just didn't really throw them away. I couldn't really throw them away because they were droids, so I just held on to them for some reason in my bags. And then when I made this little scrap bin, I thought, oh, that's what I'll do with those droids. I'll put them all in there. And this is where I keep all my components. So all my stuff I need for droid. Well, it was where I kept all my components. Like all my stuff for droids. And droids are ridiculous. Like EverQuest crafting is crazy, but this game is really super crazy as far as crafting things go. And then I made the little racetrack on the floor to put these little MSE droids in, make it look like they were, you know, running around the track. And that's pretty much my droid factory. Somebody told me I needed to have 2 droids crashing into each other, flying in the middle of the air, and one of them named Bender. So I think that's from a TV show, and I did that on a customer request. And I used to sit 6 here when she was exiled from the guild I was in. Well, I quit the guild because they were a bunch of dicks. But I forgot to show you the racetrack. So I want to take you one place more, back over to Orionstar, and I want to show you the racetrack, and then that's pretty much it. I did make a chessboard at one point out of a bunch of... I made a chessboard out of a bunch of, like, ottomans, and then I put droids out there, and it was kind of cool too. But I did take that down. So deco in this game was pretty much my shit, and I never saw anybody that came close to decorating like I did. Now this is really a pretty cool piece too, and this used to be Six's home until it got so busy that I couldn't have enough people in here. This is my droid racetrack, right? So I put all these pieces down. These are all armor segments. So I laid them all end to end, put them all up there. Oh my god, it was so painful. Like doing these little ramps and shit was just like so much work because I had to turn it to face it right. And then if you're over in this part of the diner, it's different to turn than if you're over in this part of the diner. So if you use the same pitch / pitch right 30, it would act differently than if you put it over here and did it. And it's all about how I don't know, it's just too confusing to damn understand. But here's a little racetrack, like driver stand, where the drivers stand, and you see like I got Yoda. Yoda's on the racetrack. He's coming down the racetrack there. Kind of funny. And then here's a little driver's area where they can work on their little cars and shit, and then like mud piles and little tunnels and the track. And this was Six's seat for the longest time. She sat here and buffed, and like I said, people would come in and stand, but I had the line was from there all the way back, you know, to here sometimes, and then people would get confused as to who was next, and so it got really kind of cramped. So that's why we moved her and Pennington over to the cantina that we visited a little bit ago. And all this stuff is all things that I placed. All the lights, all these things, all the posters. I mean, these are basically just blank buildings when you get them, and you just decorate them however you want. And this is what I did to this racetrack. So that's pretty much my Star Wars experience, and I really enjoyed playing this game, but I did not like the fact that it was so unstable. I mean, ridiculously unstable. Like you couldn't play. I mean, it got so bad to the point where they made everybody renew their IP addresses, and I just said, okay, you know what, that's it, I'm done. So that was it. Now I want to put a little bit of maintenance in these structures, because I don't think I'll ever play this game again, but I mean, if I did decide to, I wouldn't want to come back to all my shit gone. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put some more maintenance in here. So we got that'll do. Yeah, and I don't think these cost very much. Matter of fact, I don't know if they turn maintenance back on for buildings or not, but it was off for the longest time after they had the floods in Florida. Had a bunch of people that were playing in Florida, and they turned the maintenance off for all the buildings so that people's structures didn't disappear while they were unable to log in because their houses had been washed away in the Hurricane Harvey and all that shit, when all those Texas and Florida were having all those problems with the floods. So this is pretty much it. I'm gonna go pay maintenance on my my town hall, and then I'm done in here. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else I really want to show off, but this is pretty much it. And this is Brennan. He was a pimp. And I always wore the fedora. One time I was in my droid shop when not too long. It was a few months after I started playing. People were kind of recognizing me already. And one of the customers came in my droid shop and I was wanting droids, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. You know, I made him some droids, whatever. And then he was sitting there getting buffs, and I told him, I said, man, I really love that hat, dude. That hat is so cool. And he had this hat on. And he says, well, here, you can have it. And so I always wore it after that. And I've got a friend that's taking care of Orionstar now, and kind of making sure that it doesn't just go, you know, the way of the White Buffalo. But I don't know. People come and go in this game so much that it's hard to really know if anybody's around or not. He hasn't texted me or anything, but we really only talked when we played in Star Wars. So this is the toolbox I was telling you. So I made that boat out of all these toolboxes, so I just put them end to end. It was such a pain in the ass. Oh my god, it was a pain in the ass. But that's my Star Wars. I don't play it anymore. Don't really care to. So that's it. I don't even know how to fucking exit anymore.